All right, welcome back to the shop. And this is volume number 10 of crash repairs on Will Damaro's high voltage. So all the woodwork is now done. Um, and now what we're going to do is we're going to seal all the wood. I'm going to show you how I do that. You can do this for an entire plane. I've done complete finishes like this, where you seal it all and then use primer to fill in all the green. It is a pretty light method of doing it if you're going to do it all the way up. But so we use the Zpoxy finishing resin. This stuff seems to work the best. Um, So that's what I use, and it sands really nice. It sands like butter. So you mix it 1 to 1, and luckily these have been on my boiler, so they're warm. So first things first, I'm gonna get an acid brush ready here. And again, this is one of the best tricks I've ever seen. Bob Hunt showed me this. Keep the little hairs on. All right, so what we're gonna do is we'll mix up some epoxy 1 to 1, and then we'll take our brush and we'll paint it on a bunch of areas, and then we take the heat gun and we warm it up and we wipe it all off. This is the last stage. And then once that's done, tomorrow when it's all dry, you sand the little fuzzies off. Just lightly with 320. You don't want to the material, you just want to get the fuzz off. And you're all set then to start the finishing. So we'll get going here. I'll mix up I'll mix up 16 grams should be enough, I think. And that's the one thing nice about working. I keep all my epoxies on top of the boiler. And this time of year when the boiler's running, it makes the epoxy flow out nice. All right, so I mixed it up 1 to 1. Another good thing is these cups are 3-ounce cups. They're pretty helpful, about the right size. So what we'll do is we'll mix this up. Never really mix more than an ounce of this stuff unless you're going to get on a plane quick, because it'll start to kick off in the cup. And it gets pretty hot. So you want to usually around an ounce to do, an ounce. It mix up about an ounce, and you can do almost the entire top half or the entire bottom half of a plane. Usually takes a couple of these things to do. So just brush it on. Try not to leave it in one spot because it will soak in a little bit. So in the end, it's good to get it. That's another good thing to get them in there. And what we're doing here is we're sealing up the wood. I'll do the whole bottom here. Anywhere just bare wood. And you don't have to be the neatest here. So what I'm going to do is do up to the wing center line here. Making sure I get it coated good. Now, when you hit this with the heat, you'll see it'll start to run. See how well I can show it on this. I got my heat gun. And you watch. It's starting to run off now. You can actually, you just take a paper towel. And so it should just be packing. And you can feel it just very, ever so slightly packing. That's all you want. I wiped off almost all of it. So now, I'll have to do the rest. We usually warm it up on the spot. You'll see it start to liquefy and start to move. It's pretty neat, actually. Most of it comes right off there. And you don't want to burn it. You just want to get it so it's warm. It thins out. Feel it come right up. You'll feel when it starts to cool down because it'll start sticking the paper. A little bare spot back there. Wood. As you'll see, the resin all ends up on the paper towel. So use the paper towel until it's full. And you, like I said, you'll see it start to run. You heat the epoxy up just enough, and it'll start to run when you hit it. And again, the trick here is to wipe it all off. You just want to seal the grain with this. So that's all you want to do here. This is probably one of the best ways I know of to really seal the grain. It does take a little bit of time. Um, but it'll seal it. It doesn't allow the finish to get into the grain and soak in, especially when you're using light wood. The finish will easily get in there, and it's just unwanted weight. And what it is on the inlet here, I made sure that I got it in there good to seal up that wood as well. Then just take your time here. Still picking up just a little bit. You'll see the epoxy will like sweat before it. Like I said, you want to get up as much as you can. The function of this is to seal the wood with the minimal amount of weight. And when you're done, again, it's almost dry. Okay. What we'll do here, let's do it again. Now we're gonna flip it over. I'm gonna do the other side. And usually what I'll do, I mean, this is a repair, but like I'll do one side, let it dry, and the next day and do the other side. Only because you got to hold it, you got to put it on stuff. I mean, you could put it on wax paper. I've done that. I just got to be careful not to bounce this around in the jig. Let's see. Oh, we still got some left here. Probably have to mix up a little bit more, maybe. We'll work what we got here. That's the one thing you don't want to do. Um, the other thing you can do too, if you don't want to mix up anymore, and you're close to making it, what you can do is heat up the epoxy on the flame, and it'll move. You can take all this epoxy and move it. Well, we're just gonna make it, looks like. Now, what happens is that epoxy starts to run real easy. So what I'm gonna do is warm up the cup a little bit. Looks like we're just gonna make it. Should have mixed up 20 grams. Okay, and there we go. So now I got all the epoxy on. Now I got to get it off. The other thing you can coat the inside as well. You want to coat the inside of the parts. Like if you want a clean finish on the inside, you can do that too. Like on the battery hatch, which I may do. So the hatch is done. Should cut it side to dry. Now we got to wipe all the torpedo. Again, you'll see it start to run. You want to get any out of the grooves. And you'll use up a bunch of paper towels. Some guys I heard use toilet paper, where they put the resin on, they put toilet paper on it, then warm it up and pull it off. But a lot of toilet paper. You want to make sure you got no globs, and that's pulling all that resin off. And what I will say is, believe it or not, the quality of paper towels do matter. Because I've done this with cheap paper towels, and the paper towels rip and they don't suck up anything. So I like to use Bounty, select the size especially because you're able to get smaller sizes. And what I'll say is you can start telling when you're got it just about all up. Because what'll happen is you'll go to wipe and they'll start coming out clean paper towels. Mm. The places you got it the best, the paper towel will slide right over it without drag. Like right there, there's no drag. Here, it's still a little bit of drag. Oh. So pretty simple process. So now you got the wood is all nice and sealed up, and now you'll just be able to start your finishing method. Now I have again. Now we're going to put carbon veil on here because the rest of the a carbon veil just to stiffen it up a little bit more. But you could actually now this is sealed. You could actually put a high build primer on, or you could mix up talc and dope, and you can actually spray it on here, and it'll give you good quality finish. You just sand it all in, use that to fill the grain, and you get a good finish. I've actually had a couple planes where I've used this finish and it's come out pretty light. In fact, one of them was somewhere around, I think from start to finish was about 5.5 ounces of finish. It was pretty light on the finish, but it came out pretty light considering. All right, so that's pretty much it for this repair. So I'm going to give it back to Will, and he's going to start the finishing process. He's going to sand it down. I was talking to him this morning. He's going to sand all the finish down to back down to the base coat or the substrate, and then he's going to refinish it. So he does that. He'll come in at around 61, 62 ounces, which is the plane was probably about 62 and a half before. So after repair, it'll even be lighter. All right. Thanks for watching.